Aging is something that creeps up on us, often without us noticing. One day we look in the mirror and see the person we've known all our lives. The next we see changes, subtle lines that trace the stories we've lived, silver strands that hint at the wisdom we've gained along the way. It's strange how, even though we know we're growing older, it still catches us by surprise. But here's the thing, aging isn't something to shy away from. It's not a decline, but rather a progression, a movement into a new, rich phase of life. Now I know that aging often comes with us our challenges. The body doesn't always cooperate like it used to. Aches and pains become more frequent. Tasks that were once simple can take a little more effort. And sometimes the world feels like it's moving on without us. But there's a quiet power in embracing these changes, in recognizing that aging isn't just about what we lose. It's also about what we gain. Dignity, respect, and self-assurance are just some of the treasures we can hold onto as the years go by. And the wisdom we've accumulated, that's priceless. As we begin this conversation, I want to ask you to take a moment to engage with these ideas actively. If anything you hear today resonates with you, if it sparks a memory or makes you think differently about aging, please feel free to like this video, subscribe for more discussions, and leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your stories, and how you've experienced aging in your own life. Aging can sometimes feel like riding a train that's picked up speed without us realizing it. In our younger years, time seemed to move more slowly. Remember when summer felt like it would last forever? Or how long a year felt when you were waiting for your next birthday? Back then, everything ahead seemed far off: retirement, becoming a grandparent, even seeing changes in our own appearance and health. But as we grow older, it's like the train speeds up, doesn't it? Suddenly, those once distant milestones are upon us, and life feels like it's racing by. It can be startling. There's a moment somewhere in our 40s or 50s when we realize just how fast that train is moving. And by the time we're in our 60s or 70s, it's clear that time waits for no one. But here's the thing, we can't stop time, and we can't slow down the train. What we can do is decide how we want to travel through this part of the journey. Do we cling to the past, lamenting the days gone by, or do we embrace the ride, savoring each moment and accepting the changes with grace and strength? This brings me to the concept of maturity. There's a profound difference between simply aging physically and truly maturing. Physical aging is something we can't control. Our hair turns grey, our skin changes, our bodies slow down. But maturing, that's a choice we make. It's about how we handle the changes, how we view ourselves, and how we carry ourselves in the world. Aging gracefully means understanding that, while our body may be changing, our hearts and minds are still capable of growth. We can continue to evolve to deepen our understanding of ourselves and others. Let me share a story that illustrates this perfectly. I once knew a man in his 80s, a retired teacher. He was a quiet man, not one to boast or demand attention, but whenever he spoke, people listened. He had this presence about him, a kind of calm, unshakable dignity. He didn't try to act younger than he was, nor did he bemoan the fact that he wasn't as spry as he used to be. Instead, he embraced his age. He spoke with wisdom, not because he knew everything, but because he'd lived enough to know what was truly important. He didn't need to remind people of his age or his accomplishments. He carried his life's experience with humility, and that's what made him so magnetic. I think we can all learn something from people like him. Aging gracefully isn't about trying to hold on to youth, it's about accepting who we are and where we are, while still nurturing the parts of ourselves that matter most: our kindness, our curiosity, and our willingness to learn. But aging in a society that often values youth above all else can